Hi, my name is Raul. I'm from Estonian network of people living with HIV. Thousands of people with AIDS in Estonia are alive because of programs and partnerships like UNAIDS Global Fund and AIDS Healthcare Foundation. Many of these life-saving programs are threatened today. Estonian network of people living with HIV signed onto the Keep the Promise on AIDS HIV declaration and also for the march in Washington before the opening of the International AIDS Conference next July. Keep saving lives. Please join us to ask world leaders to keep the promise on AIDS. Sign onto the declaration today and join us in Washington next summer. See you there.
This is the March on Washington. More than 1,000 groups, as Barbara said, from around the world have already joined AHF a year in advance to send a message to Washington and world leaders. The war on AIDS has not been won.
Hola, mi nombre es Andrés Cruz de COPUT, una organización no gubernamental en México. Miles de personas con SIDA en México están vivos gracias a los programas y las sociedades como PEPFAR, el Unicida y AHF.
We hear that 60% of those living with this virus live on the African continent. Those numbers seem large, but their names and their faces to each of those people.
If the President in the United States keeps its promise and fulfills the PEPFAR committed amount, if the pharmaceutical companies lower the cost of the medications, if we work every day to be diligent in getting people tested and educating them about how they can keep themselves negative. This is the challenge I give to myself, to remind me not to become complacent, to remind you all that we need to march on Washington, D.C. next year, July 22nd, 2012, so we can all keep the promise. Thank you.
In South Africa are alive because of the programs and partnership like PEPFAR, UNAIDS, and AHF. Unfortunately, many of these life-saving programs are threatened today. Lifeline South Africa signed on the Keep the Promise on HIV and AIDS declaration and for the march and the rally in Washington before the opening of the International AIDS Conference next July. Please join us and the thousands of other groups that have already signed on to ask world leaders to keep the promise on AIDS and keep saving lives. Sign on to the declaration today. And if you can, please join us in Washington next summer.